You know, that tree job that I looked at last week where the pine tree was leaning way over and I was gonna, you know, trim it up so the limbs wouldn't keep falling. That guy's not even returning my call, you know, or my text or DM or whatever. It's funny how people, and it happens a lot, how people call you and you go take the, you know, your contractor, you know, you take the initiative to go and look at the job, and then, you know, you talk about money with them, and they're like, yeah, man, that sounds pretty fair, man. And that's we said that multiple times. Customers will tell you a lie, and they will act as though they're in, but a lot of times when you give a customer a number, you know, then they start calculating what it would take to get their brother-in-law to do the same thing, right? It happens all the time. They just trying to get a baseline number for what it would cost to get it done. So I feel like, you know, even if they don't want me to do the work, whatever the job may be, I feel like they can at least drop me a text or DM and say, hey man, we don't have the money right now, or we're gonna wait, or something, you know, instead of just ignoring me. Because I get, and I know they're not looking at it as a personal thing, but see, I take it personal, because I feel like I wasted my time going over there, and now they kind of, by not saying anything, they're kind of stringing me along in a weird kind of way, if that makes sense. I don't, you know, well, Ray, just don't even worry about it, man, just keep rolling. And that's what I do. But you know, when people tell me that they're in, and then they don't return, and they live right here in my neighborhood. It ain't like the dude don't know me or nothing, or don't know. I've lived in this neighborhood longer than most of these people here. There's a lot of renters in here now, because the rent it's so lucrative to rent houses down here where I'm at, in my general area. The rent around here is about $2,400 a month, and I don't know if that's a lot up north or out west, you know, but compared to my mortgage, that's a lot. It's double. So anyway, you know, I don't know why I started talking about that. I get a little bit misguided sometimes, but it is irritating, you know. And there's another customer that called me yesterday, back a few months ago, probably November or so. Man, that's 5 months ago, whatever. I went and looked at a job, and I took you guys with me, and I met with a lady, and she was kind of being the spokesperson for her daughter. Her daughter's an accountant, and I went over there and looked at that job. This was last year. I spent about an hour and a half there, and same thing as this person. They don't return a call, they don't return a text or nothing. And then out of the blue yesterday, I got a call from the daughter over there. That's her house, and she didn't tell me that, you know, she told me who she was. It didn't register at first, but she said, I live blah blah blah, and I'm, you know, me and Jared are working, so I'm just kind of just listening. I'm not, you know, looking up nothing or anything like that. She says, I live at blah blah blah, and we got some trees we need trimming, we got some mulch we need to put down, this and that. I want to do a fence, a vinyl fence. You know anybody? Blah blah blah. And I got to thinking, you know, about where that job was, and Jared said that job is going to be right across the street from one of the gas stations that's well known, right? And I'm like, okay, you know, because he was riding, I was just, you know, I was just listening. He says, yeah, that job where she's talking about is across the street. Apparently Jared knew somebody in there at some point in time. So I call her back, and we're talking and tells me her name and everything, and I still didn't compute, but I kind of knew about where she was at, and I was trying to place it in my head. And then when she started talking about some of the work that she wanted done, that she started talking about that, that's when then I realized it was the same property that I went to and met with the mom. And they didn't return my text, my call, or nothing from November all the way probably through you know, middle of December. They never even acknowledged anything after I left there. And I left a couple of voicemails. I'm only gonna chase so much because the mom was acting like, yeah, just like this guy over here. And I'm like, okay. So then when the lady started telling me everything she wanted to do yesterday on the phone, that's when I realized it was the same property over there. Not in my neighborhood, not the tree trimming job, but the one I looked at in November. So I'm like, okay. So she started telling me all the things that she wanted to do, and she said, I want to put rubber mulch, I want to put fabric down and put rubber mulch down. And I'm thinking to myself, okay. And then she says, and I already bought the mulch. Well, I can tell you right now from my contractors, and I have a disclaimer, if I do a mulch job and it's anything more than, you know, a yard of mulch, or you know, anything more than 10 or 15 bags of mulch, however you want to, you know, look. Well, I can tell you now, I'm not going to do a mulch job if I can't buy the mulch. I got to build there's a couple of things, and you know, and they can get somebody else, you know. I mean, I'm not, but this is how I keep my numbers friendly for me, because every job I go and look at and spend time there, and it takes a mental taxing on me to you know, where they won't return a call or whatever. That's all time wasted to me. But with that being said, I can already tell you now, I don't do mulch jobs unless I am making money on the actual purchase of the mulch. There ain't no money in it no other way, for me. I mean, there's money in it, but it ain't as much, right? If I can, the only way I do mulch jobs, and that's why you don't see me do a lot of them, is I got to be able to purchase the mulch, and I got to be able to deliver the mulch with my dump trailer. And that's the only way I do mulch jobs. I do not do mulch jobs where the customer buys the mulch. I don't do that, because I mark up the mulch because I get a discount. So if the customer is paying, you know, goes and buys mulch at the mulch yard or whatever, and in this particular case she bought bags, same thing to me. If a customer goes to the mulch yard and buys mulch, they're going to pay, and I don't know exactly because I don't pay that, but they're going to pay roughly $40 to $45 a yard. Now, a yard is usually a little bit more than a ton, I think. So I won't do a job without that, man. That's the only way that I feel like I can make money in the mulch where it's worthy of my time. Because if not, then I can make more money sitting on a lawnmower, then that's what I'll do. Any job that I do in the spring and summer has got to pay more than mowing. You know, it's got to pay significantly more than mowing, because I can sit on a lawnmower and I can make, you know, $500 or $600 a day easy, and I don't have to work that hard, and it's a repetitive thing. With mulch jobs, it's got to pay me worthy of that. So I'm going to make money on the sale of the mulch, because if they go and buy the mulch and have it delivered, you working me now, because now you got a pile of mulch in your driveway that I got to hurry up and get over there and move. I don't do that. I do not let the customer or the mulch yard do that. I don't do that. I don't. And I know you can make money doing it like that. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, for me, I don't do that. I don't. If I'm not in control of the delivery of the mulch, which means I'm doing it, because I want that $100 or whatever they're charging to deliver it, and then I want the markup on the mulch too, from my, you know, $28 or $25 a yard to, you know, $45 a yard. I want that $20 in the middle there per yard. If it's 12 yards, it's $240. Well, then that I'm making on top of the sale of the mulch, and I hadn't even put none down yet. That's where the money's at for me. And on top of that, I'm in charge of the timing of the job, okay? Because I have the dump trailer and the ability to haul it, and we can work from the dump trailer. I never dump the mulch on the job. Sometimes you have to, but that's one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of mulch jobs. And there's people that make a lot of money in the mulch work game. You got to have good labor, and you gotta, you know, you gotta work for it, you know. And y'all know me and the way I do my business, and it's not a dig at nobody, you know. Randall does a lot of mulch jobs, and it's beautiful. He does a lot better job than I do. But over there where he lives at, it's a lot more popular for mulch, you know. And they don't, and the properties that he's doing are not like the properties that that get me to do mulch. The properties that he's doing are upper echelon. Well, they're estates, not just, you know, a yard like mine. You know, customers just ain't gonna pay, you know, unless you're doing 15 of them. And see, I don't want to do that. So if I can't make money on the sale of the mulch, make money on the delivery of the mulch, and be in control of the timing of the job, then I'm not doing the mulch. I'm not going to do that. So, and everybody does things a little bit different. I want a piece of equipment to do everything, and if I have to pay guys to do, you know, a 15-yard mulch job, then I got to make money on the 15-yard sale of the mulch, so I can afford to pay them top dollar. And that's basically what I do. We'll base it on 10 yards. What I do is they're charging $45 a yard plus tax. I'll charge $25 a yard or $28 a yard plus tax, and I'll make about $22 per yard on the sale of the mulch. So if you do that by 10, that's $220, and then I'll turn around and make another 100 or 80 per trip, you know. And then you got to look at how far the mulch job is from the mulch yard. That's to do it like I do it. That's very important, because you got to be able to. Well, you got to be able to stick and move, and you got to be able to. If I can't haul 10 yards at a time, then I'll haul 6, and then I'll go back and get 4, right? But during that time, I don't just take the 6 to the mulch, to the job and dump it. What I do is I take the trailer over to the job and let them work off the trailer. I'll go cut a few lawns somewhere, and then I'll swing back through and pick up the mulch trailer and go, you know, 5 or 6 miles to the mulch yard, grab the other 4, and then come back and drop the trailer again, and then I'll continue on with my mowing route while they do the mulch. Then you're 2 for 1, and really at that point. And then the next day, I'll go pick up the trailer and pick up a check from whoever the job, you know, wherever the job is. But what that does is that enables me to pay a team of people, you know, really good money. They might make, you know, $220, $230 for, you know, 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours, we'll say a day of back-breaking mulch labor. So, and I'm making the same money that I would if, you know, if I were doing it myself. I'm basically semi-subbing it out, basically. You know, that's pretty much what I do. But if you wait too late into the spring, then I don't want to do it, because again, it takes too much energy and effort. Now, if I have another guy out here that I can trust with the dump trailer, that I know can go to the mulch yard and get the mulch, that I can give a credit card to pay for the mulch, or and do all of that, then I'd be willing to do that. But I ain't got nobody out here like that. Not right now that I know of. Any of the guys in the past, I won't let them pull the dump trailer around, because they're so airheady. Now Jared might be one that, you know, that I would let do that. I probably would have let Francisco do that, even though he only worked out here about a month, 6 weeks or so. But that's how much I felt Francisco is grown and has, you know, his own bills to pay and has, you know, life experience, so he knows a lot of the things that can go wrong. You got to know you got to know all the things that can go wrong out here in order so you can avoid them. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're pulling, you know, 5 tons. And if you're not in tune with that, like, I don't know, sometimes when they put a lot of weight on the trailer, you'll see one of the tires might be low. You know, all kinds of stuff. I've had guys out here, they so don't pay attention to anything that they pulled off with the ramp, with the mower ramp down. You know, that they have pulled off, leaving, you know, a blower in the middle of their in the middle of the customer's driveway. You know, and I'm talking about somebody or people that have been out here for a couple seasons. You can't, you know, well, you can't do that, man, and me trust your judgment. I got to be able to trust your judgment, and that's what it's all about. So I don't know what got me on this subject, but most jobs are lucrative if you got labor and you got customers that are willing to pay. Most of the customers around here, they're not willing to pay top dollar because they all feel like they can just go to Home Depot and buy 50 bags and they can do it themselves. And that's what I encourage them to do before they call me. So I do.